Every time you reach for your phone, you are acting as an electrical storage device. The human body is mostly water and dissolved ions, making it an excellent conductor that constantly interacts with invisible electrical fields in the environment. In electronics, this property is called body capacitance. While it fluctuates based on your surroundings, like whether you're standing on carpet or leaning against a metal desk, the baseline capacitance of an average human is roughly 100 picofarads. When engineers design sensitive touch interfaces, they use the Electrostatic Discharge Association's human body model. It represents you as a simple circuit, a 100 picofarad capacitor wired in series with a 1500 ohm resistor, terminating at earth ground. A modern display relies entirely on this biological circuitry. The glass panel in your pocket is literally an incomplete electrical system, waiting for an external conductor to close the loop. It does not register the physical pressure of your tap. It detects the mathematical shift that occurs when your body's capacitance bridges a localized electrostatic field. To measure that shift, we have to look at the hardware. The simplest architecture used to detect this biological interaction is a single self-capacitive button. This diagram shows the cross-section of a typical capacitive sensor. You have an FR4 printed circuit board base, a conductive copper pad that acts as the sensing electrode, and electromagnetic field lines arching outward through a non-conductive overlay, like glass or plastic. Even when untouched, this system holds a very specific electrical charge. The physical traces, the copper pad, and the surrounding ground plane inherently generate their own capacitance to the power line ground, known as parasitic base capacitance. The touch controller inside the device constantly scans this electrode, verifying the exact value of the parasitic capacitance against its internal reference. Establishing this static baseline state provides the reference point. Without it, calculating the picofarad level variations introduced by a human finger would be impossible. When your finger presses against the glass, it breaches the electric field arching out from the copper pad. Here is the baseline equivalent circuit for that node, showing the microcontroller and the parasitic capacitance. When you touch the screen, your body introduces two new variables. First is CT, the parallel plate capacitance formed between the flat of your finger and the sensor pad. Second is CG, the capacitance between the device's power line ground and true earth ground. Because your body acts as a parallel route to ground, the total capacitance of the system changes. The new equivalent capacitance is equal to the baseline parasitic capacitance plus the parallel combination of the touch capacitance and the ground capacitance. Engineers define the sensitivity of this button as the ratio of the capacitance change caused by your touch relative to the original parasitic capacitance. The larger the change compared to the baseline, the easier the signal is to read. A physical human touch is mathematically nothing more than an injection of parallel equivalent capacitance into a sensor node. Knowing that the capacitance has changed is one thing. Actually measuring it is a different problem. Microcontrollers lack the hardware to measure raw picofarads directly. A digital controller IC is primarily designed to do two things: measure voltage levels and count discrete increments of time. This chart models the relationship. By definition, the electrical current flowing into a capacitor is equal to the capacitance multiplied by the rate of change of voltage over time. If we supply a constant current, we can rearrange this math to solve for capacitance using only time and voltage. To do this, the controller uses a circuit called a relaxation oscillator. It charges the sensor node with a known fixed current. The voltage across the capacitor rises until it reaches a specific voltage threshold programmed into the IC. The speed of this exponential voltage rise is strictly governed by the RC time constant, which is the product of the circuit's resistance and its baseline parasitic capacitance. When your finger touches the screen and adds the parallel plate capacitance to the system, the total capacitance increases. Because the charging current remains fixed, but the capacity to store charge is larger, it takes longer for the voltage to reach that same threshold line. The IC contains an analog-to-digital converter that clocks the exact duration of this charging phase. When it measures a statistically significant delay in the charge cycle, it outputs a digital signal confirming a touch event. The processor inside the device doesn't feel your finger. It times a microscopic delay in a microscopic charge cycle. To turn a single button into a smartphone display, that sensor architecture is scaled up into an XY grid of transparent indium tin oxide traces layered across the screen. Early designs used self-capacitive columns and rows, but this design encounters a mathematical failure the moment a user attempts a multi-touch gesture. If you place one finger on the screen, the controller detects an increase in capacitance along one specific row and one specific column. The intersection is your exact touch point. But if you pinch to zoom, adding a second finger, you activate a second row and a second column. By activating 2 rows and 2 columns, there are now 4 separate intersections highlighted in the grid data. The controller has no way to mathematically deduce which 2 coordinate pairs are the actual fingers and which 2 are the phantom ghost points. To solve the ghosting anomaly and enable true multi-touch, the industry shifted to a different architecture, projected mutual capacitance. In a mutual capacitive grid, the intersections don't act as single self-contained nodes. Instead, the vertical lines act as transmitters, rapidly pulsing an AC voltage. The horizontal lines act as receivers, constantly measuring the mutual electrostatic field coupling between them at every single intersection. This changes the physics of the interaction. When your finger touches the glass, it acts as a localized shunt to earth ground, physically absorbing a portion of the electric field lines radiating between the transmitter and the receiver. Because some of the field is diverted into your body, the mutual capacitance between the TX and RX lines at that exact intersection drops. By scanning the intersection sequentially, the controller isolates the exact coordinate of the field reduction for as many fingers as you place on the screen. True multi-touch works by detecting where the electrical field has been siphoned away, rather than measuring the total line capacitance. This chart displays the physics governing parallel plate capacitance, touch area divided by physical distance, multiplied by the dielectric constant. This exposes strict hardware limits. Operating the screen with heavy winter gloves dramatically increases the distance variable, D. As the physical distance expands, the resulting touch capacitance plummets beneath the noise threshold. The same strict physics apply to water. Because water has a very high dielectric constant, droplets heavily distort the field, generating false coupling points that the controller misinterprets as touch drift. No matter how sophisticated the firmware algorithms become, the system is permanently bound by the raw variables of physical distance and material dielectrics. The design of modern interfaces is an exercise in leveraging human anatomy. The hardware is deliberately built with an open loop, requiring the conductive properties of your biology to finish the circuit design. It is an endless translation loop. Integrated circuits run relentless differential equations, continuously filtering environmental noise and translating your biological capacitance into digital coordinate data. Without you, the device is nothing more than a dead circuit. It is your body that completes the math.